I want to talk about burnout, how burnout can be compounded by this ever active lifestyles where we're constantly doing busy work, both in our job, our personal life, and of course in our writing. How when we are burned out, we have lost any spark of inspiration we have and we just don't feel like writing at all. But more importantly, I want to talk about how we can recognize the signs of burnout before they've fully taken hold of us and stopped us from writing altogether. Because if we can do that, then we can start to readjust and help refuel ourselves before it is too late. That way we can put habits that help us into place so that we can realign with our writing goals, our writer mindset, and our confident lifestyle once again. So let's talk about signs that you might be falling into a phase of burnout, specifically focused on our writer lifestyles. And the first one is juggling too many writer goals at once. If you're trying to write 3 novels and revise another all while living your personal life, then you are probably holding too many writing goals in the balance at once. And when we can't zoom in on one writing goal, we start to fall behind. We feel swamped because nothing is moving the needle, and we start to feel a lack of accomplishment that ultimately leaves us discouraged. I've felt this in the past. In fact, I felt it quite recently when the obligations in my job were starting to overtake my before work and after work time. So I needed to readjust that writing goal, make it even smaller, and then consider what was realistic for the next month. Connected to juggling too many obligations is setting unrealistic, time-bound goals for yourself. I have heard of so many people trying to write an entire novel in a month. If I tried to write an entire novel in 1 quarter, just 3 months, I would still feel way too overwhelmed. That is unrealistic for the writer lifestyle that I have at the moment. What tends to happen when we create these unrealistic time-bound goals is that we experience setbacks, and instead of noticing that these happen from time to time, they start to feel like this huge problem because now we are so far behind in that writing goal and there's absolutely no way we're going to accomplish it on time. One of the big ones that used to plague me was comparing myself to other writers. What would happen is I would see the published authors and how far away my rough draft was from their published work. And instead of reminding myself that they are at different stages of development, I would start to doubt myself. I would think, I am not a good writer. This is never going to be accomplished. I will never complete my story. Inevitably, this spiraling would lead to burnout, causing me to need to take time off of writing because I was just so defeated, which would then lead me to thinking I was confirming that I was not equipped to be a writer. And finally, if we allow writing to become just a business, just to sell books to readers, then we lose our creative spark. And writing just becomes another everyday tedious task, a task that we must do instead of want to do. Then we start to put extra pressure on ourselves and it's not fun anymore. You'll end up here again and again if you don't stop to reflect what personally are your unique signs that lead to burnout. And once you can pinpoint those, then you are able to build in habits and processes to help you build a creative lifestyle that suits you and keeps you actively engaged and excited to write in the long run. So writers, if you know what signs influence you to feel burned out, pop them in the comments below. Let's learn from each other's experiences. Okay, so we have our signs figured out. We know that when writing just becomes a business, we start comparing ourselves to other writers, or we're setting unrealistic time-bound goals, or we have too many writing goals all at once, then we are more than likely to burn out at some point. But this doesn't mean it will never happen again to us. So what are some easy, quick tips that we can use to help us overcome and move forward during and after burnout? First, let's check in with our physical and emotional needs. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating nutritionally balanced meals? And are you planning in dedicated rest times? In terms of your emotional needs, start committing to trying to notice when you have spiraled into a moment of negative self-talk. Stop it in its tracks. Look for evidence that it's true and then reframe it. And if you want some help with this, I created a video on toxic writer worries and how to reframe them through a journaling practice, so I'll link that in the description box below. One way to rebuild your confidence is to start by setting one tiny, easily manageable goal, and it doesn't need to be writing centered. It could be getting the laundry folded and put away for the first time in a long while, because each of those mini tasks are going to start to compound to you reminding yourself, I can do hard things. Instead of looking ahead, focus on the one goal or task in front of you, and once you've accomplished that, set a new one. Start to build momentum with every goal that you cross off. All right, with basic needs out of the way, let's look at 3 other strategies to help you move past writer's burnout. And my first one, as something I absolutely love to do myself, is journal it out. Spend some time reflecting and asking yourself why. Why are you feeling burned out? Why are you feeling uninspired and like writing is not achievable at this moment? Check if your goals are realistic and manageable. Check if your writing practice needs a little revamp. Journal your worries, thoughts, and questions. Reflect on the self-doubts you have and start to reframe them. If it's your overarching writing goal or the project at hand that is causing you burnout, shift your expectations for a time. Set that writing goal aside for a moment or extend the time period that it needs to be accomplished in. Change writing projects. You can always go back to them later. And finally, organize your writing space. Making sure to reset your space, both physically and digitally, can actually really be super helpful. You can check that everything has a home, that you can easily access this when you need them, so that you aren't feeling that friction of getting started. Overall, we need to notice. We need to notice what isn't working for us, what is working for us, and we need to recognize our accomplishments, both big and small, because those are the fuel that keeps us wanting, craving to write consistently. So writers, let me know in the comments below. If you've ever experienced writer burnout, what's your one strategy that helps kick it to the curb? And if it's comparing yourself to other writers that is causing burnout, I want you to watch this video next. In it, I talk about how to stop comparing yourself to others, providing you with even more strategies to build your confident writer mindset. Take care and happy writing.